Hi everyone and welcome to KRYPTALK, that Irish guy that talks about Bitcoin. This episode is for anybody who's either bought Bitcoin, thinking about buying Bitcoin, or just wants to learn a little bit more, because I'm going to be showing you 10 useful tools for Bitcoin investing. We're also going to take a look at how an incoming US senator hopes to bring Bitcoin into the national conversation, a futures gap that nobody is talking about, a crypto critic who's done a U-turn on Bitcoin, institutional interest in Bitcoin's fixed supply, and why Biden is big for Bitcoin. So let's get started. This is episode number 20, and the title of this episode is 10 Useful Bitcoin Tools. If this is your first time to the channel, or you're watching now and you haven't yet subscribed, maybe you'll consider clicking that subscribe button. But for now, a quick look at the charts. Okay, let's get the basics out of the way. So this is the KRAKEN chart. These are hourly candles and Bitcoin is trading at $16,025. The only thing I'm looking at today is this rising wedge pattern, and rising wedge patterns tend to break down to the downside. There tend to be reversal patterns. Now what I'm looking at here is this resistance line. There's 2 points of contact here, and this support line. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could argue there, points of contact. Now if this was to break down, this is also, you have an increase in price, the higher highs, but you also see that RSI here, this chart here, the RSI is trending downwards. Also, the volume is dropping off. That could be a sign that a breakout is due. Now, if this was to break down, if I get the height of it there, and let's say it breaks out here, the target would be down to 14,000. Now, if this was a crash, I consider this a very healthy crash, but also a bullish crash. It would have a healthy sell-off. It would shake out all those weak hands, and then you come down and you'd retest 14,000 as support. Like a few weeks ago, even like 2 weeks ago, we would have been delighted if Bitcoin closed over 14,000. Now it's trading at 16,000. It's inevitable there's going to be crashes. Now I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but like if it does break out bearish out of this rising wedge pattern, it's a chance that it could go down and the target would be just in around the $14,000 level. Look, that being said, before I go on, Bitcoin is extremely bullish these days. This could just take off to the upside. I'm not worried at all, because if it goes to the upside, great. If it crashes down to 14,000 and flips the resistance to support, excellent. That's it for the charts for today. That brings us to the main focus of this episode, 10 useful Bitcoin tools. Number 1, the white paper. The Bitcoin white paper is an 8-page document by Bitcoin's creator Satoshi Nakamoto. It outlines how the electronic cash system will work, and it's essential reading for any Bitcoiner. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Number 2, Coinbase. Coinbase is one of the most popular cryptocurrency exchanges where you can buy, sell, trade, or hold your cryptocurrencies. It's really easy to use. Although their fees are quite high, it's easy to use, and it actually has an advantage over the likes of Revolut or PayPal, because with Revolut and PayPal, even though you can buy and sell Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, you can't actually send them off to a cold storage wallet. So essentially you don't have custody of your own cryptocurrency. Number 3, KRAKEN. KRAKEN is my go-to cryptocurrency exchange. This is where I buy my Bitcoin 99% of the time. The reason I use KRAKEN, although it's not as easy to use as Coinbase or the likes of PayPal and Revolut, but the fees are extremely low. So the fees are as low as 0.26%. So if you buy $100 or €100 worth of Bitcoin, only 26 cents is actually taken in fees. And you can also then send this to a cold storage wallet like a Ledger Nano S for safekeeping. Number 4, a Ledger Nano S. This is a Ledger Nano S. It's a type of cold storage wallet. It's the safest way of storing your Bitcoin. So you buy it on an exchange. You can buy your Bitcoin on an exchange like Coinbase or KRAKEN or any other exchanges, and then send them to your cold storage wallet. This can't be hacked. Exchanges can be hacked. Remember, the disadvantage of buying Bitcoin on PayPal or Revolut means you can't actually send it to one of these. If you want to get one of these, if you go to my channel and look at any video in the description, click on the first link. This is my affiliate link for Ledger, and use that then to go and buy yourself a Ledger. By doing that, you're making sure that you have a device where you can safely store your Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Even if you don't want to use my affiliate link, make sure you get one using some other link, or just go straight to the site, because it's the safest way of storing your Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Quick side note, I'm saving the best tool to last, so make sure you stay tuned to number 10. Number 5, Investopedia. This is investopedia.com. And it's a great resource for learning more about technical analysis, investing and finance. Number 6, TradingView. It's a website for monitoring the price action of various different cryptocurrencies or even traditional assets like stocks. You can also look at different exchanges as well, like KRAKEN, COINBASE, Bybit, whichever you want, on different time frames. So you could have, this is the hourly chart, you can switch this to the daily, the monthly, the weekly, and of course you can draw on these patterns as well. And that helps you identify different trading patterns which might arise. For example, rising wedge, ascending channel, bull flag, bear flag, and so on. Number 7, GLASSNODE. This is glassnode.com. It's a website that does on-chain technical analysis. So on this website, you'll find information on the fundamentals behind Bitcoin. For example, the hash rate, the number of Bitcoin active addresses, the number of Bitcoin addresses with more than 1 Bitcoin or 1,000 Bitcoin, or the stock to flow model. So it's a very, very useful tool. It's free to sign up. There's a paid option where you get more benefits. Number 8, DCABTC.com. This is DCABTC.com. It's a useful way of tracking the progress of your dollar cost averaging. I mentioned this on the channel before. So let's say you decided to purchase $50 or €50 worth of Bitcoin every 2 weeks for a year, and you started a year ago. So your total investment would be $1,350 a euro. Your total value now would be $1,630, and your percentage increase would be 20.77%. So it's a great way of tracking the progress of your dollar cost averaging. It tells if you're in profit or in loss and by how much. Number 9, COINMARKETCAP. COINMARKETCAP is really handy if you just want to check the price of different cryptocurrencies and compare them to each other. And number 10, BLOCKFI. So BLOCKFI.com are a website that offer crypto-backed loans and deposit interest accounts. So you can deposit your Bitcoin and earn 6% per year. So for example, at today's prices, 6%. If you set up an account with them, and then set up an interest account with them and put 1 Bitcoin into this and then left it there for a year, you get 1.06 back. So you have like 0.06 back, but at today's price is $960. Now obviously if the Bitcoin price drops, you'll get less. If it increases, you'll get more, but they pay the interest not in dollars or euros, they pay it in Bitcoin. So it's a great way of earning passive income on your cryptocurrency. Of course, the disadvantage is there is a bit of risk involved because they could go under, they could, go out of business, into liquidation, they could get hacked. I'd say it's unlikely because, their whole business model is they pride themselves on offering these crypto-backed loans or these interest accounts. I personally, like I've mentioned loads of times before, and I'm going to mention again, this is the safest way of storing your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I use one of these for the vast majority of my Bitcoin and crypto portfolio. But I did do this recently. I deposited 0.1 of a Bitcoin into BLOCKFI a few months ago just to see if it works. And it's steadily earning the interest there. It's a small amount every month. But it's legit. And you can withdraw whenever you want as well. So I can definitely highly recommend BLOCKFI.com. There is an affiliate link in the description for this video. Yeah, check it out. Before I take a look at this week's news, I just want to say a massive thank you to anyone who's watched the videos, liked the videos, or subscribed to the channel so far. And I just want to remind you about my dollar cost averaging experiment. Every episode for 10 episodes, I buy €10 worth of Bitcoin. And at the end, then we're going to see if I'm in profit or in loss. This is week number 9 of it. And the last week is the next episode, should be episode 21. If I hit 200 subscribers before then, I'll give all the money for the dollar cost averaging, the euro equivalent, to charity. It's not looking likely, so I think my money is safe enough. But look, if it happens in the next week or so, I will stay true to my word if I hit that 200 subscribers, and I'll give all the money from my dollar cost averaging experiment to charity. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy another €10 worth of Bitcoin. The first news article we're going to take a look at is by Cointelegraph, and the headline reads, "Incoming Senator hopes to bring Bitcoin into the national conversation." So this took place on ABC News in a program called GMA3 What You Need to Know on Friday. Senator-elect Cynthia Lummis again voiced her support for the popularization of Bitcoin. So she is the soon-to-be senator representing Wyoming. This is her here. And I'm not going to watch this video now, but basically she says Bitcoin is a store of value, and she makes reference to how scarce it is and makes reference to the fact there's only 21 million. So if you want to watch this video in your own time, I'll drop a link down in the description. But again, like, this is a US senator, or senator-elect, soon to be Senator Wyoming, specifically saying Bitcoin is a store of value because it's deflationary, because it has a fixed amount, because it is scarce. The second article is by Bitcoin.com, and the headline reads, "Bitcoin options open interest surges. Traders look to an unfilled Bitcoin futures gap at $18,000. Now, about a month ago, everyone was talking about the Bitcoin gap at 9,600, but what no one was talking about is the Bitcoin gap at nearly twice that, up around 18,000. Now, there is no reason, no one has explained to me why these gaps have to be filled. There's nothing that says they have to be filled, but statistically they do tend to be filled. But why is it that nobody was talking about this gap at 18,000? And when was this? Like, this gap must have been there for 3 years, because Bitcoin hasn't been 18,000 since what, 2017, 2018? So the article states that some traders believe that the digital currency's price could fill two unfulfilled gaps on the CME Group's futures chart with an upward trajectory towards 18,000. Now, the CME Group, but what that is this chart, the CME chart, it doesn't trade in the weekends. It trades like traditional stocks. So what happens is, if Bitcoin is like, say, 18,000 on Friday evening when the CME chart closes, and it continues trading, because Bitcoin never sleeps, it's 24/7. So if it continues trading and it jumps up to, let's say, 20,000, then there's going to be a gap in the CME chart between 18 and 20,000, and people will argue that it has to drop down to fill this gap before, continuing to the upside. So they're saying here that there's two gaps at 18,000. And the precise location of these gaps are at 17,700 and 18,500. The third news article for this episode is by Forbes, and the headline reads, Nouriel Roubini, crypto's fiercest critic, has admitted Bitcoin could be a store of value as price suddenly soars. That's two different people in the same episode here that have used the same exact phrase, store of value. So Nouriel Roubini is a professor of economics at New York University's Stern School of Business and one of crypto's fiercest critics. So he's come out and said that Bitcoin may be a partial store of value. So he's kind of doing a U-turn, or at least a partial U-turn, on what he said before, that Bitcoin will end up in the Museum of Failed Coins. News article number 4 is by Bitcoin.com, and the article reads, hedge fund manager Brian Kelly says increasing institutional interest in Bitcoin is down to its fixed supply. So there's that fixed supply argument again. So Kelly's comments follow reports that the European Central Bank, the ECB, wants to issue its own digital currency. Now, what he exactly said was, I cannot imagine the ECB issuing a digital currency that has a fixed supply. In fact, I would think digital euro will make it a lot easier for them to digitally print more money. This is the whole argument. If you can just flick a switch and digitally print more currency, or even like what the US is doing, printing more dollars. Like, I think there's some crazy figure out there where like something like 20% of the dollars in the world have been printed in 2020. Like, if I'm wrong on that, fact check me and leave a comment. But this is the whole point. If you can just print more money, or flick a switch and digitally print more money, it loses value. Whereas Bitcoin, because of what it's based on, there's always going to be 21 million. There can't be any more than that. It's the way the program is based on, it's the way the network works. There will not be ever more than 21 million Bitcoins. And 18.5 million have already been mined. And companies like Grayscale are just devouring them. So, I mean, and people are going to hold on to them, and they're not going to sell, they're going to hold. So this just increases the scarcity and therefore increases the price and the value. And the fifth and final news article for today is by Forbes, and the headline reads, Why Joe Biden Could Be Big for Bitcoin. So it's no secret that Trump he didn't like cryptocurrency, he didn't like Bitcoin, he was anti-cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. But Joe Biden, I don't think he's actually come out and said if he was for or against Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but he has gone and employed Gary Gensler. So Gensler is a lecturer at MIT. He's also a former chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and Goldman Sachs executive, who has argued that cryptocurrencies have exposed shortcomings in traditional existing payment systems. Now, last year, he also said that Bitcoin's underlying blockchain technology is a catalyst for change, arguing we already live in an age of digital money. So why are we talking about Gary Gensler? Because the president-elect Joe Biden has recruited Gary Gensler, and he's going to lead the financial policy transition team. So, I mean, that seems very, very bullish for Bitcoin, that bringing in this guy who's shown himself to be, recognized the potential that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has in blockchain technology, and now they're part of the incoming president's cabinet or team. So you have Joe Biden, who's arguably like one of the most powerful positions in the world, and now you're bringing this guy in who is a friend of crypto. So it could be bullish. It could be. Okay, everyone, that's the end of this episode. So if you've got any sort of value from this episode, or you learned something new, please be sure to like and subscribe. And as usual, sláinte. Bye.